Hey guys, my name is Alicia Rose, and I am so excited to speak to you guys about all about me and to share my story with you. So, if you don't know who I am, uh, my name is Alicia Rose, and I am a lifetime five-star diamond coach. And I'm about to tell you all the amazing things, by the way, that I've achieved. So I am a lifetime five-star. My second business center is a lifetime one-star. My husband is a two-star, and his second business center is Emerald. I am also a 2014 Premier Coach, a 2015 Elite Coach. I earn multiple six figures in this business. I've been doing this for 6.5 years, and you can insert the income disclaimer right there. That's all based on your skill and diligence. I've also have earned Success Club 75 months in a row so far to date. I've been to every single summit since LA, and there was only 2,500 people there, all the way to, this year there's over 30,000. It's just so amazing how much this network has grown. But what's even more crazy is I think that a lot of people, we do our highlight reel. We say how amazing we are, all these amazing things that have happened, but we don't talk about the things that aren't so amazing, all the hard times, the people that quit, the issues that we have. And what I really wanted to talk to you guys today was about controlling the uncontrollable. So, I just want to know, how many of you have lost rank? Definitely me. How many have you had a coach cancel? Me. I had signed up 52 coaches last year. Of those 52, there's only 3 left, and 1 is active. So my business went last year, right? We all have those downs within our business. How many of you guys had a return on a product? Definitely me. How many of you have been blocked on Facebook? Double hands, because you're going to have these things that happen to you. It's only natural that you're going to have bad things happen to you at the same time that you're going to have amazing things happen to you. So I'll go back to the very beginning of how I started into this business and the whole reason why I joined Beachbody. So in 2008, I had gotten word that my unit was deploying. I'm in the Army Reserves. I'm in for now 16 years, and I was part of a combat support hospital. So for me, I was in the human resources area, and I was just a backup. So I'm going to all these trainings. I'm just a backup person. And I was going to all the trainings, right? So we had to go to a pre-deployment station in Texas, and that is where they would go from there to deploy. I wasn't supposed to deploy at all. I was just there as a backup, just in case they needed me. But at that point, we were about a week away. I wasn't needed. So I was just doing the things that were mandatory to go in case, later on down the road, that person had to come back and I had to go. I was told 4 days before we deployed that I had to leave. And then I had to leave my then 3-year-old and 18-month-old. And I had 4 days to go home and say goodbye. So that was definitely the hardest thing for me because I wasn't mentally prepared. I couldn't control the situation. I thought I had control. I thought that I wasn't going to go. And here I am about to leave for an entire year with my kids and leave them behind with my husband. And we didn't have any family live near us. We were in Florida. All of our family was in Alaska. So he didn't have the family help either. It was just him. And, I was a stay-at-home mom. So it was just easy. I did everything. I did everything for him. I did everything for the kids. My husband was in the Navy as well. I'm so thankful for the Navy and for giving him that time that he needed to get kids to daycare and to pick them up when he needed to early. And they were very flexible with him. So I'm very thankful for that. But, it was the most unbelievable experience that I ever had. So actually I'll show you here in a second. I want to show you a picture of that day that I left. So this is a picture of my kids here, and that's Aiden, and she was 3, and Corbin was 18 months. And this was last year when they were 9 and 11 for my birthday. And this was actually the same time around my birthday. So I had left, and it's so crazy how fast your kids grow, and you come back and they're just a totally different person. So being deployed, I knew that I didn't want to miss a single second of their life. I didn't want to do that anymore because I already missed a year of their life. So I didn't want to miss anymore. I was so miserable. And when I came home, I was happy to be home, but there was just something missing. I couldn't integrate back into society very well. I had anxiety really bad, and I still do, which I realized that caffeine is a major trigger, and doing the ultimate reset helped a million times over. But, you know, I also had horrible road rage, and it's crazy how horrible it was when I came home. I had no patience for anything. I was drowning myself in alcohol and in Taco Bell because we didn't have any Taco Bell overseas. And that was one thing I craved. Like, I craved it. So I had come home and I'm gaining all this weight. I had, within 2 weeks of coming home, I got a job in the corporate world. So for pretty much the very first time, besides being deployed, I have a real job. You know, even when I was deployed, I kind of ran the show because I'm an E7. So I kind of ran the show. It was, I was in charge of other people. So I got to make all the schedules and figure out, you know, everything that's happening. And I still had some control over it, which was amazing. And it was one of the best experiences. I will say it was one of the best experiences I ever had, and I don't regret it for 1 minute. So when I did come home and I got this corporate job as a branch administrator for this corporate job, and it was different. It was so weird because the people there were great. I loved some of the guys there. They were so nice. I was in charge of a very small office, so there was only maybe about 6 other people in there that worked there, as well as the 2 managers. And the one manager guy, he was in charge of the entire office. He was not nice. He was a micromanager. He would call me. I was off at 5 o'clock. He would call me at 4:59 to make sure I was sitting there at the desk every single day. And even though he was at home, he was a big perv. You would see him walking by, or all the women walking by the window, and he would lick his lips and just watch him walk by and make comments. And it was just very uncomfortable. I remember thinking to myself one day, is this the life that I'm going to live for the rest of my life? Like, am I going to retire here in this job? Am I going to stay here and to be doing this for the rest of my life? Like, I'm miserable doing this. This isn't fun for me. And human resources or being an administrator wasn't really what I wanted to do with my life. Even in high school, I didn't know whatever I wanted to do to go into college. I knew I wanted to, I love giving massages. So I'm like, oh, I'll go to massage therapy school. And I did that. And, and then I went into to school for my human resources degree. But it was like nothing really grabbed my attention. I just did it because that was what you were supposed to do. You're supposed to go to college. And I ended up graduating with my bachelor's, but I wasn't excited about it. I wasn't excited about that job. And I couldn't control the things in my life that I really wanted to control. And that was my time and my freedom. And within this job that I had no room for promotion. I was at the highest in my branch. And the only way that I could get promoted was if I went to New Jersey. And that would involve moving my entire family. And at the time, my husband was still in the Navy. So that wasn't even a possibility for us. So there was no room for promotion or for getting a raise at all. We actually, in my job, we had a 5% decrease in our pay because the company was hurting. So everybody across the board had gotten a 5% decrease. That hurt a lot. So, there's all these things I couldn't control. Now, when I remember this day, I was walking back from the bathroom. I was in my slippers because I wore my slippers at work because my feet were freezing. This office was like freezing cold all the time. I was always like snot everywhere. Like I was so freezing. I'm the coldest type of person, so I have to be warm all the time. Even here in Florida, it'd be like 75 degrees out and I'm still wearing a sweater. But I just remember walking back one day from the bathroom and I'm like, I just don't feel like I'm living. I feel like it was a brain fog, what it was, but I didn't realize what it was that I was missing. It was this thing, I was just like, I'm here, but I'm not really here. I'm like, I'm going through all the motions of every day, but there's nothing, there's no energy behind it. There's no life in me. I knew something had to change. I just didn't know what it was. So at my daughter's gymnastics, a friend of mine, I was doing adult cheerleading competition team, and just to get back in shape and to do something fun and get out. And he was telling me that, I should do this PX90 thing, or P90X, whatever it was. I couldn't remember what it was. I had to have my husband look it up. And he's like, oh yeah, we do it here in the back room. We have classes here. And that was before that we had the live format. So, obviously it was not legit. And they don't do it anymore, obviously. But so I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll go look it up. And I went home, looked it up, and my husband burned the first 3 weeks of it. And I did the first 3 weeks. Tony's not my thing. I don't like the corny jokes. I don't like goofing off. It wasn't my thing. And that's fine because, every trainer is not everybody's jam. So I saw an infomercial for Insanity. And I was like, yes, that is it. That's what I want to do because that is my jam. That is totally me. I love boot camp style. I love dripping in sweat with beads everywhere, just like puddle on the floor, dead. I love that high that you get after a workout. And I was like, that's it. So I asked my husband, hey, can you download that for me and find it? He's like, oh, I can't even find it on here. And this is what it just came out. So I was like, oh, dang. Well, I'll go look on eBay because I used to do eBay all the time. I'll look on eBay. And so I got it off of eBay. It was a pirated copy. It looked legit. It came in a Beachbody box and everything. But half the videos were scrambled. So it was not all the deluxe videos that came with it were all scrambled. So I couldn't use those ones. But I did have the main ones that worked. And it came with the calendar and it came with the books. It looked legit, right? So, but I did Insanity and I lost 5 pounds. That was it. 5 pounds. I was waking up every morning at 4 a.m. to get my workout in. I was doing everything I needed to do except the nutrition plan. So, but people were noticing that I was losing weight. They were noticing that I was having changes. So obviously my inches were going down, but the weight was not. So I was on the Insanity Facebook page. I'm talking to people on there, and this random girl messages me, and she's like, oh, you're doing Insanity. You should be a coach. And I was like, well, I thought that was a thing like with Beachbody, like you had to go and become an employee of Beachbody. She's like, oh, no, it's totally legit. You're already loving the products. You're already talking about the products. You're doing what coaching does, and you get a discount, and you can earn money. And so I was like, oh, that would be perfect, right? I was like, that would be totally me. But I still had this thing in my gut, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I should be doing this. Should I, or should I? So hold on one second. Can you close that door, please? And so I was, doing all this, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. And so I was talking to this girl, and she's like, just try it. And I was like, well, I don't think so. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. It's a scam. Like, I'm not going to do this. And she had came back, it was probably about a week later, and she's like, Beachbody has this awesome promotion. And this is back when they had a promotion from like September or October to December, where you could sign up completely for free. And she was like, it's completely free. There's nothing that you have to pay for. You just get your Shakeology, and that's it. And I was like, well, I'll try it out. Why not? My husband, no. He was like, no, like, you're not a salesperson. You're horrible at sales, and you're horrible at talking to people. And I was like, well, but this feels right. Like, now something tells me that I need to do this. So I signed up regardless of what my husband said. And I did Insanity again, the second round, with Shakeology that time. And I lost 20 pounds. So between 5 and 20 pounds, at Shakeology made a huge difference. And from then on, I was a full-on believer of products. I knew that they worked, and I felt amazing. I didn't have that brain fog anymore. That Shakeology was the key to all of that. It was a key to my success. It was a key to feeling better. So, so now that I am a coach, and this is back when we didn't have challenge packs. We didn't have challenge groups. I wasn't reading personal development, and because I couldn't find what worked for me. I couldn't find that thing. So the very first year was rough. It was hard. I was signing up coaches, but, they weren't sticking. They weren't reading personal development either. We didn't have any trainings. So it was just, read the policies and procedures and just go for it. That's what I did. I just read the policies and procedures and just started inviting my heart out, right? And I had a lot of coaches that would sign up, but they were not my tribe whatsoever. Some of them are still coaches, but they're not my tribe because they aren't willing to grow. They aren't willing to become better and to make something more of their life. So took me about a year to make Diamond. It actually took me 11 months to make Diamond. And ever since then, I've been going up in rank by about 1 star every single year, except for last year. So last year, when I made Elite, as soon as I made Elite in beginning of, well, actually, I'll backtrack a little bit. So I signed up as coaching, got results, awesome, amazing. I'm Diamond coach. Then I get laid off from my job. So I'm 2 years into Beachbody coaching by now. I'm making about $2,000 a month, and they tell me that you're getting laid off. So now that my job is being gone, that's another thing I can't control. I can't control the income coming in. So I knew that I needed to figure this business out and fast. So I had a few months in order to be able to figure it out and to just be pounding the Facebook, just making sure I'm inviting as many people as I can. So, but it was, I'll have to tell the story too. So when I was laid off from my job, and they were telling me, they pulled me into the room, they're like, they've got HR on the phone, my boss is there, my boss's boss is there. And they're like, I'm sorry, but we're closing the office and we're going to have to let you go. I was like, yes. I was like, yes, thank you. And they're like, what? Like, who is this crazy lady cheering because she's getting laid off? I was like, thank you. And they're like, are you sure you're going to be okay? Like, do you have everything set up? I'm like, I'm going to be fine. Like, I have my Beachbody business. I'm doing great in it. I have already made up the income that I'm making here there. So I'm great. Like, I'm fine. But I knew that I was still losing income because I was kind of used to having now $4,000 a month. So I was making about $2,000 with my corporate job and $2,000 with Beachbody. So I was living off of that $4,000 a month type thing. I wasn't saving very well. And I knew that I needed to do something drastic in order to make up that income. So once I got laid off, it was so exciting because before too, I didn't have that freedom of time. I couldn't take off the end of the week or the last week of the month. Everything that I did on my vacations and my times off, like when my kids were sick, everything was controlled by this corporate job. They could tell me whether or not I could go on a trip, whether I could go home and visit family. And when I did take off that last week of the month, I got the guilt trip. I was always told like, well, nobody else is allowed to, and we're adjusting everything for you. And it was a horrible feeling. It wasn't an environment I wanted to be in anyway. So within 3 months of being home and having the freedom and the time to do whatever I wanted and wake up and not have to worry about putting on a pantsuit and heels and putting on makeup and brushing my hair every day, which I just brushed my hair right now just for you guys. So it was so freeing. It was amazing. And I ended up in those first 3 months, I tripled my income. I went from $2,000 a month to $6,000 a month because I had more time to spend on this, but I was doing the things that I could control. And that's what this whole business is about, is controlling what you can control, right? I've had it where so many people they would get so close to diamond and they would just stop working and their whole business would crumble and they quit. I've had coaches who needed this to work so badly for them, but they weren't willing to do the personal development, to do the inviting, to get uncomfortable and to grow. And in this business, you have to be uncomfortable. You have to do things you don't want to do in order to succeed. So I ended up, working so hard and I was burning myself out. And I really realized that I wasn't working in an efficient way. I was just working all the time on my phone. I was constantly attached to it. Every time it would ding, I would be like, oh my gosh, I got to message this person back really fast or else I'm going to lose them. And that was just a horrible mindset of thinking because now I was not controlling my time very well. So what are some things that we can control? We can control our inviting. We can control our own fitness journey, right? We can push play every day. We know what we're putting in our mouth every day. Are you drinking enough water? Have you ever watched Shalene on Snapchat? She's got a bunch of these all over the place. I normally have like 3 of them sitting on my desk, but I already drank 2. So this is my last one and I have to refill them all again. Are you following this portion control containers? I have so many of my coaches where I'm in a challenge group right now with them, and they're admitting that they've never followed the meal plan or the containers. What? I'm like, what are you talking about? You've never followed the containers? Like, that is why you're not getting the results that you want. That is why your business isn't growing, because you're not sharing that with other people. People are not seeing you change with your fitness because you're not following that meal plan. And that's so huge to be able to control. Those are things that you can control. You have the ability to control your entire fitness journey. That's an amazing part. And your fitness is your business. You have the ability to control your inviting, your tracking. Those are things that you can control. You're following up. You can't control somebody signing up. You can't control what somebody else does once they do join. You can't control if they bought a challenge pack and joined your challenge group and they disappear. You can't control that. You can't make people do things that they're not ready for. When you send out a link, you think somebody's ready and they say they're ready, but chances are sometimes they're not. That's okay. You just put them on your follow-up list and you just keep following up with them and making sure that they do sign up at some point because you're there for them. You can control your personal development. You can control you growing as a person. Right now, I am reading this book, Real Leadership by John Addison. And I'm also, right now, I am listening to Fascinate, which is about branding. So you can control those things that you're putting into your body, mind, body, and soul, right? Because you control you changing, and you have to become the coach that you want to be. So in order for your coaches to grow, you have to grow into what you want them to be as well. So if you want your coaches to be a 15-star diamond coach, you have to grow into that mentality and that mindset of a 15-star diamond coach and a CEO, more importantly, because it's your business. Take it seriously, making sure that you are growing this into something amazing, because guys, this has the ability to change your life. Oh, I'm going to cry now because God, it's so disheartening when people are not doing the simple things just to grow their business, like inviting. I have coaches who don't invite, and I'm like, why? You are so close to diamond. You are so close. You need this to work. You are, your power is turned off, or you're homeless, and you need this to work. You need to fight for it. You need to fight for your life. And it's just like that. They're taking the chance of flighting instead of fighting, right? That fight or flight. So it's this business, and it's so crazy because I do it all the time, and I'm so grateful for everything I've done. But I know it's because I spent years and years of hard work, of consistency, of making Success Club and making that a priority to my business every single month, because I've made it 75 months in a row. And, I made it that priority because it's my way of tracking who I'm helping. How many people am I helping? How many lives am I changing? It's not just about the points. It's not just about that number, which when I first started as a coach, it was all about making money. That's all I cared about. So Success Club was the way to make money. But it ended up turning out to be something so amazing about helping somebody else reaching their goals and them feeling confident about themselves, them feeling better about themselves, happy with themselves. And that now, instead of being ashamed to be to be in a picture with their family, they're the ones that are just like taking selfies all the time. That's amazing. That is so free. But it all comes from what you can control. And that is you're inviting and sending that message out and following up with them. Figuring out your follow-up system and your tracking system is so important as well. And I will tell you mine, because it took me 6.5 years to figure it out. And I am ashamed to say it took me 6.5 years to figure out a good tracking system. But I couldn't figure out what worked with my brain. I did pen and paper for the longest time. I did the index card system where you had it like in an index card box, and then you would write that person's name on it, and you would have the months in there and the days, and you just move that card for when you need to follow up. It eventually grew so big I couldn't do it anymore. And it was such a pain to write everybody's name down to and all their information, and then you have like 5 cards for one person. I've done pen and paper. I've done writing them in my calendar, so I've done Excel spreadsheets. I've done TeamZ. I've done Streak. I've done Asana. I've done so many things, and nothing worked. Nothing worked for my brain. So if you find that you are not able to figure out what it is that works for your brain, first off, try several different things. But for me, I really realized it was the closing of a tab and then reopening another window or tab that like my brain couldn't figure it out for some reason of writing that person's name down and their information while I'm talking to them at the same time, right? So what I finally figured out was having two screens. So I've got my big monitor and then I have my laptop on the side. So my laptop is for Asana. So I have that open. So every day I know to open it and I go through it and I have due dates on everybody. So every time I talk to somebody, they get a due date of when I need to follow up with them. So now I'm able to control that. I'm able to control the people that I talk to because how many times have you gone and you sit down and you're like, I don't know who to talk to. Who do I need to follow up with? I know somebody wanted to sign up, but I can't remember their name. And that's something that you can control. You can control that. So figure it out with however your brain works and figure that out because it's so important. And this business, it's just amazing. So now here I am 6 years later. My husband is actually out of work right now. He is in between jobs. He actually starts on Monday, thank goodness. But he's gone 3 weeks without pay, and that's okay because we can afford it. I'm living in my dream home right now. We just moved in July of last year, so we haven't been in here for a full year yet. But we have a pool in the back, and every day at 4:00, we'll go back there with my husband. When he gets home from work, we'll go into the pool for an hour. And that's kind of like our time together. It's our break time from everything and to just enjoy what we have, what we've built. And that's what's important, is to enjoy the things in life because life goes by so quickly. Our kids grow so fast. And, it's only going to go even faster the older that we get and the older that our kids get. So, and I am just so grateful for this opportunity, but it's all because of the things that I could control. So I want you guys to really figure out, what is it that's holding you back from success? What are some of those things that you can control in your business? I did all those calls with Keyshawn, and she would always talk about controlling the uncontrollable, and you can't control the uncontrollable. What are some things that you can control in your life? There's a lot like time. Sometimes time, we can't control our time. We can't control our kids and what they want while we're working, and they come in, they want peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something, and now my kids are old enough to get it themselves. But, we can't control a lot of things, but in the time that we have, we can control what we do. We can control that inviting. We can control our mindset. We can control our following up and our tracking and our business. You can't control what other people do. Right now, I'll be honest, I'm sitting at 3-star. I was 3-star the entire year last year. And that hurts. That hurts me because it's not so much of my rank, but because of the growth. Because people aren't believing in themselves to grow, and that they fell out of rank and that they're not willing to get it back because they don't believe in themselves and they're not willing to do those things that they can control. So, and when you feel like you're talking to so many people and that they're all telling you no, and that you are getting the money objection time and time again, which, believe me, guys, I get that as well. I get objections over and over and over. And some months I'm messaging 400 people just to make Success Club. And it really is a mindset thing. You have to have your positive affirmations every single day and what you're telling yourself, and start with that. Start with your personal development first thing in the morning. Have your schedule ready so that way you know what you need to do every single day. And your business will be amazing regardless, because you know you are controlling what you can control within your business, and everything else is up to the other people. So all you can do is share your story, invite other people to it, give them the information, and it's up to them to take it on themselves and to do something for their life. But share your story, keep sharing, keep inviting, keep putting out there on social media what this opportunity is able to do for you, and your fitness journey, because people are always watching. So that's all I had. I am so excited for you guys. There are so many amazing things coming out, here at Super Saturday, a Plus opening internationally soon. We have the ability to do something amazing to help so many people. So don't lose track of that. Do something for yourself and control what you can control. Write it out on a piece of paper. What are some things that you can control in your business? And what are things that you can't control? And let go of all those things that you can't control, because those things, they don't matter, because you can't do anything about it. All you can do is those things that you can control. So excited for you guys. So excited, because we're about to come into this time in our business where it's going to grow, and we've got so many amazing things going on, and I just cannot wait to see what you guys do with this opportunity and how many lives are changed financially, physically, emotionally, mentally, because you can do something amazing for yourself, your family, and your business. So that's all I had. Thank you so much. And, thank you for taking the time to be on here. Bye.